Welcome to Real Talk with Reginald D. I'm your host, Reginald D. Today's episode is about the pressure to be perfect. Let's go. People will always try to convince you that your value is in what you do, in what you achieve, in what you look like, and how polished you appear. But today I'm going to tear down that lie. You weren't created to perform. You were created to live. Today's episode is about something every one of us has felt, the pressure to be perfect. And I want to tell you something real. You weren't created to perform. You were created to live. Some of you listening right now are exhausted, not from the work you do, but from the mask you wear. You tried to put on a show for people who don't even know the real you. You show up smiling, producing, achieving. But when the lights go off and you're all alone, you feel like you're not enough. Let's be clear. That's not living. That's surviving under the weight of someone else's expectations. See, that's a perfection trap. It starts with one line. If I could just be a little better, maybe then I'll be accepted. If I work a little harder, look a little more polished, maybe I'll finally be enough. Let me give you some real talk. Perfection is a prison, and the key is your permission to be real. Now hear me. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be excellent, because I do. Excellence is honorable, but perfectionism is exhausting. Excellence says, let's grow. Perfectionism says, you're never enough. There's a difference. God didn't create you to be flawless. He created you to be faithful. Your purpose isn't tied to your polish. It's tied to your process. Stop comparing your private struggles to someone else's public success on social media. Start asking, what is God doing in me that no one else sees? Because the real you, the one who's been through the fire, the one with the scars, the one who is still healing, is a version of you that this world actually needs. You've been putting on the show long enough. The applause of the crowd might feel good for a moment, but when the lights go out and you're alone, how do you really feel? Perfection is a mask that hides the masterpiece. You weren't made to perform. You were made to impact. Let me ask you something. What if your flaws weren't flaws at all, but fingerprints of your purpose? What if the very thing you're ashamed of is the thing God used to set someone else free? Think about that. The pressure to be perfect will rob you of the permission to be powerful. It's time to stop rehearsing a version of yourself that make others comfortable and start living a version that make others bold. You're not a puppet for perfection. You're a vessel for purpose. And vessels don't need to be perfect. They just need to be willing. Now let's get something straight. Perfection doesn't make people follow you. Being authentic does. People don't need another polished, put together highlight reel. They need someone who's real, someone who's walked through storms and kept standing. Someone who says, I've been there. I've doubted myself. I've cried in secret, and I'm still here. When you get real about your struggles, you give someone else permission to stop pretending. When people feel safe to be seen, that's when healing begins. Real talk. The world doesn't need more perfect influencers. The world needs more imperfect impactors. Let them see your scars. Let them hear your voice. And let them feel your humanity. Because when you're real, you become relatable. And when you're relatable, you become revolutionary. Let me ask you something. Who told you you had to be perfect? Who told you you had to have it all together before you were worthy of love, purpose, or grace? Because God didn't. That lie came from a broken world, not a holy God. In Genesis, after Adam and Eve hid, God asked, who told you you were naked? In other words, who told you something What's wrong with how I created you? Some of you are still hiding behind perfection because someone once made you feel unworthy. But God is still asking, who told you that? Because it didn't come from him. Your worth was never meant to be earned. It was established before you were born. God didn't wait until you got your life together to call you chosen. Before you achieved anything, he assigned your value. I need you to remember that. The moment you start living from that truth, not for approval, but from approval, you'll start moving with peace and not pressure. You're not hustling for identity. You are walking in it. Some of you are praying, parenting, forgiving, and healing in silence and feeling like it doesn't count. But just because it's unseen doesn't mean it's unimportant. Profession says, if they don't notice, it's not worth doing. But purpose says, if God sees it, then that's enough. Heaven rewards what the world ignores. So keep showing up, keep healing, keep serving. Your process may be private, but your impact will be public. You are allowed to rest. Let that sink in. Jesus rested, God rested, and yet here you are, punishing yourself for not grinding 24/7. Rest isn't lazy, it's obedient. Take the nap, take the day off, turn off your phone. You don't have to earn the right to breathe. You're a child of God, not a machine of man. When you chase perfection, you start shrinking. You dim your light to make others comfortable. You hold back your voice to avoid judgment. But God didn't call you to fit in. He called you to stand out. Let your faith take up space. Let your truth be loud. Stop editing yourself down just to be liked. You weren't sent to fit in. You were sent to shift the atmosphere. Let me drop this in your spirit. Broken crayons still color. Some of you feel unusable because of your past. But God doesn't need perfection. He needs surrender. Your mess is a part of your ministry. Your cracks let the light shine through. So stop disqualifying yourself. God already qualified you. He uses the broken to break chains. And lastly, don't try to edit the parts of your story you're ashamed of. God isn't looking for a filtered testimony. He's writing a powerful one through you. The chapters you want to skip are the ones someone else needs to survive. So share the truth, all of it. Not when it's perfect, but when it's real. That's where power is. The version of you that God wants to use does not require performance. It requires surrender. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the pretending. And let go of the perfectionism. God can do more with your yes than the world can do with your perfection. I need you to understand, you're not too broken. You're not too late. You're already enough. So this week, stop performing and start being. Not the perfect version, just the present version. Because the world needs the real you, the raw you, the anointed you, the powerful you. The you that's not afraid to rise, even if you rise with scars. I'm going to leave you with this. You were never called to be perfect at all. You were called to walk through it all with faith, with courage, and with your authentic self. God doesn't anoint the image you pretend to be. He anoints the you who shows up, scarred, surrendered, and still standing. Because you don't need to shine to be seen. You just need to be you. Let the world adjust to your authentic ways. Let the critics talk. Let the professionists stress. Remember, you're walking in purpose, not performance. So stop polishing for approval and start standing in your process, because purpose is messy, but it's transformative. You were made for more than filters, applause, or perfection. You were made to be free. Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk Regiment D. If you enjoyed listening to Real Talk with Reginald D, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. See you next time.